1 in 26 Americans develop epilepsy at some point in their life.
If you were a part of this group, how would your life change?
Unusual electrical activity, nerve cells firing at the same time in your brain.
Something you cannot control.
How would you feel? Lost? Confused? Afraid?
This is how many people and their loved ones feel every day, and we wanted to change that.
Hi, I'm Angela.
My name is Manal.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Julia.
Through hours of brainstorming, research, and interviews, we developed a product that will help adolescents feel safer and more in control.
Okay, I'm good. Are you all set to run?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I have to take off my seizure detection band before I run, otherwise it'll alert my mom that I'm having a seizure.
Oh, that's weird. Do you know why it does that?
Yeah, it's because the heart rate monitor interprets any big change in motion as a seizure, so I get a lot of false alarms.
Really? Then why not use Chain?
Chain? What's that?
Chain is an app that helps me manage my seizures. It uses motion sensing technology to sense changes in patterns of movement, so you never have to worry about false alarms.
That's so cool. What else does it do?
You know what? Why don't I just show you what the app is all about?
We created Chain. Chain stands for Connecting Healthcare to Adolescents in Need. It is an app that connects people with seizure disorders, alerts loved ones about seizure activity, and monitors their data.
The primary functions of Chain include a journal to track medication and daily information, a community forum, and a help button for emergencies.
When you open the app, a home screen appears where you can create an account or locate the help button. If you open the Create an Account tab, you can add basic information like the type of seizure you have, your doctor, emergency contact info, and more. The help button function can be used to alert loved ones of a seizure or another medical emergency. It can also be used in the case of an aura, which is sometimes known as a focal seizure and is a warning that another seizure may occur.
Located in the top left corner is a person icon, which directs you to the community forum. Adolescents can connect with each other, personally or anonymously, to share their experiences and receive advice from others, including doctors.
Also found in the top left corner is a calendar icon, which directs you to the daily log. This log can be used to track medication and day-to-day information, such as stress levels, hours of sleep, eating habits, and more. This daily log feature will allow people and their doctors to notice different lifestyle patterns that may trigger seizures.
Another important function is the settings icon located in the top right corner. This function allows the user to customize the app to their needs, if notifications should be sent, if their location should be shared and with who, and if the seizure band should record motion during seizures.
A large portion of how we developed the app was through researching different types of seizures and interviewing those who are knowledgeable about seizure disorders.
The first interview was with a mother whose daughter has tonic-clonic seizures. Then we interviewed her father, who shared additional information. Our third interview was with a mother whose son has focal seizures. Our fourth and final interview was with our school nurse, who shared information on her experiences with seizures.
Using information from all of these sources, we were inspired to create different features for our app.
The daily log was an idea we had to include after hearing 2 of our interviewees mention a need for it.
A person with seizure disorder would actually chart and keep track of how many hours they've slept, how well they slept, what they ate, how much water they had, you know, all the healthy habits that are very important, and just got in the habit of recapping their day. You might be able to find patterns, and that actually was proven with migraines, because people with migraines had an app and they would just plug in all this information.
We wanted to create this function for people with seizure disorders so that they too could see a pattern that they may correlate with their seizure activity. Having a sense of security, knowing that you could potentially prevent a seizure, is extremely beneficial.
Another example of this journaling technique was brought up with a mother whose son has focal seizures. She stated,
I think that would be amazing. I actually have a friend whose daughter had diabetes, and she could see her sugar reading. The mom was a nurse, and she could see her sugar reading on her phone all the time. And so the daughter would be at college playing field hockey, and she'd be texting her hey, your sugar's really low. You need to go get some orange juice or something. That as a mom would be amazing. If there was something like that for epilepsy, where we could be alerted or made aware, I think that'd be really cool.
By incorporating the daily journal, we hope to make that function available to people with seizure disorders. In doing so, seizures can be avoided and loved ones will be less worried about their child or relative having a seizure.
Having a community forum was an important feature we wanted to incorporate after hearing that a father found a similar blog website helpful in finding their current monitoring device. He stated that
having a community forum directly on the app would help simplify the process and be able to keep up to date with the latest technologies and most current information that's out there.
The information in the community forum will be about people's experiences, new technology, and more. The mother whose daughter has tonic-clonic seizures stated,
I hope that if enough people share their experiences, it will lead to better ways to detect seizures. In our app, by submitting data to others including doctors, the user is actively contributing to research that hopes to discover more about how to combat epilepsy.
not only do we use interviews to develop Chain, but we also looked at apps already made to monitor seizures in order to determine what we wanted in our app.
One of the apps we found was Inspire. Inspire has a motion detecting function that pairs to an Apple Watch, but we found that this led to frequent false alarms when customers were driving or working out. The app was only rated 2.5 out of 5 stars, and many struggled with connecting to the Apple Watch, setting up an account, and navigating the app. Chain is easy to use, and our technology allows the app to differentiate between normal activities and a seizure.
The purpose of researching these apps was to educate ourselves on the different products that people with seizure disorders have access to. Through this research, we created our app. This process allowed us to create an app that would be an improvement to current technology. Therefore, we would help improve the lives of people with seizure disorders.
The Chain app, which is free to download on iPhone and Android, pairs to the Chain watch. The watch is minimalistic and affordable. Our macro-sized prototype was a total of $26.84, which in comparison to competitors who use an Apple Watch is more affordable. This design is very similar to other wrist-worn monitoring devices, so it does not draw unwanted attention to a person's seizure disorder.
The yellow button shown is a light that will flash when the emergency button is activated and unusual symptoms arise. In addition to this, the device will play a sound that can alert surrounding people of the medical emergency.
In case the button was activated accidentally, there's a 5-second warning using flashing technology and vibrating sensation before the full alarm goes off. To deactivate the alarm, there's a button on the band that can be pressed.
Inside the wristband is a 3-axis accelerometer with high resolution, microcontroller board, jumper wires, and breadboard. These technologies inside the watch sense changes in patterns of acceleration. This includes how long the object accelerates for and how irregular the acceleration is, which can be applied to differentiate between normal movement, such as exercising, and a seizure.
The accelerometer translates motion into numerical values representing how fast the velocity changes. If the movement is fast and short like this, the output will be a small set of relatively high or low numbers depending on the direction. Alternatively, if the movement is slow and minimal, there will be a low amount of change reflected in the output. Using these data values, we can devise an algorithm that models what the jerks and other movements of a seizure would most likely be similar to. By applying machine learning techniques and feature extraction, we can train the models in the learning phase to get more and more accurate with test runs before putting it out on the market. Also, as the user experiences more seizures over time, the model will quickly adapt and become even more precise, since it will be able to see what a particular person's distinct seizure looks like, making it easier to recognize the same thing in the future.
For our target audience being teens, having a watch that can be worn while exercising or simply moving is extremely necessary. We took what we learned from other monitoring devices into consideration when creating the Chain watch, because as Thomas Edison stated, I start where the last man left off. Thomas Edison truly was an inspiration to us all. Through his perseverance and technological advancements, he showed the design process at work. Throughout our entire design process, we tried to follow in his footsteps. We too started where the last man left off in hopes of making the world a brighter place for all those affected by seizure disorders. Whether this includes people personally affected or loved ones, we wanted Chain to provide them a sense of comfort and confidence as they live their lives.
Join us
in connecting healthcare to adolescents in need.
Join us
and support Chain.